Look, I need you to pause whatever you're doing right now and really listen to what I'm about to tell you. Because if you clicked on this video, if you're here in this moment reading these words, something inside you already knows. You can feel it, can't you? That restless energy, that quiet whisper that keeps showing up when you're supposed to be focused on other things. That's not anxiety. That's not you being dramatic. That's your life trying to get your attention. You're standing at the edge of something massive, and most people have no idea how to recognize when they're in this space. They miss it completely. They stay stuck in the same patterns, wondering why nothing ever shifts, why they keep hitting the same walls over and over again. But you're different. You're here. And that means something is already moving. See, there's this invisible line that exists in everyone's life. Most people never see it coming. They don't recognize the signs. They don't understand that the universe has been preparing them, testing them, showing them exactly what they need to see before everything changes. But when you know what to look for, when you understand the patterns, you can actually feel it building. The momentum, the shift, the turning point that's about to flip your entire world upside down. And here's what nobody tells you about turning points. They don't announce themselves with fireworks or dramatic music. They don't show up when you're ready or when it's convenient. They arrive quietly, often disguised as confusion, as frustration, as that feeling that something needs to change, but you can't quite put your finger on what. That feeling you've been carrying around lately, that's not a problem to solve. That's a signal to follow. I've been studying this for years, watching how breakthrough moments actually happen, and there's a pattern. There's always a pattern. Right before someone's life completely transforms, right before they step into their next chapter, there are specific signs that show up. And if you're seeing this video, if something pulled you here, you're already experiencing at least 3 of them. First sign, you've been feeling disconnected from things that used to matter. That job that once excited you now feels like you're going through the motions. Those conversations that used to energize you now leave you feeling empty. The goals you set 6 months ago don't even make sense anymore. This isn't depression. This isn't you losing motivation. This is your soul outgrowing containers that were never meant to hold the person you're becoming. Second sign, you keep having the same conversations with yourself. You know the ones, where you're weighing options, analyzing possibilities, asking questions that don't seem to have clear answers. Should I stay or should I go? Is this worth fighting for or should I let it go? Am I settling or am I being realistic? These internal dialogues aren't signs of indecision. They're signs of evolution. Your consciousness is expanding, and it's trying to reconcile who you were with who you're meant to be. Third sign, you're craving something you can't name. It's not more money, though that might be part of it. It's not a relationship, though connection matters. It's not success in the traditional sense, though achievement feels important. It's something deeper, something that feels like freedom and purpose and authenticity all rolled into one. You can't explain it to other people because it doesn't fit into neat categories, but you know it when you feel it. And lately, you've been feeling its absence more than its presence. Here's what's really happening. You're not broken, you're not lost. You're not having a quarter-life crisis or a midlife crisis or any other crisis. You're graduating. You're completing a level of your existence that you were supposed to complete, and now your system is preparing you for what comes next. But here's the thing about graduation. It requires letting go of what you've known, even if what you've known was good, even if it served you well, even if other people don't understand why you'd want to leave it behind. And this is where most people get stuck. They feel the pull toward something new, but they're terrified of disappointing the people who love the current version of them. They're scared of making the wrong choice, of burning bridges, of starting over, so they stay. They convince themselves that the restlessness will pass, that they should be grateful for what they have, that wanting more is selfish or unrealistic. But what if I told you that wanting more isn't selfish? What if I told you that the restlessness isn't going to pass because it's not supposed to pass? What if I told you that the people who truly love you want you to become who you're meant to be, even if it means growing beyond who you are right now? The turning point isn't just about changing your circumstances, it's about changing your relationship with change itself. It's about understanding that growth isn't comfortable, that evolution isn't convenient, and that the most important transformations happen when you're brave enough to trust what you can't yet see. You're not reading this by accident. You're not here by coincidence. Something in you is ready, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you can't see the full picture. The question isn't whether you're ready for what's coming. The question is whether you're willing to stop resisting what's already begun. Because here's what happens when you finally stop fighting the current and start flowing with it. Everything you thought was falling apart was actually falling into place. Every door that closed was redirecting you toward the one that was meant to open. Every person who walked away was making space for the ones who were meant to walk beside you. Every plan that didn't work out was protecting you from a path that would have kept you smaller than you were designed to be. But right now, in this in-between space, it doesn't feel like protection. It feels like chaos. It feels like you're losing your grip on everything you thought you knew about yourself, about your life, about what you're supposed to want. And that's exactly how it's supposed to feel. Because you can't step into your next chapter while you're still clutching the pages of the old one. Here's what nobody prepares you for about turning points. They don't just change what you do, they change who you are. And becoming a new version of yourself while you're still living in the old version's life creates friction. Your new values start clashing with your old commitments. Your expanded awareness starts feeling cramped in your current environment. Your evolved priorities start questioning choices you made when you were operating from a completely different level of consciousness. And this is where the real test begins. Because growth isn't just about adding new things to your life. It's about having the courage to subtract what no longer serves you. And subtraction is terrifying because it requires faith. Faith that there's something better waiting on the other side of letting go. Faith that you're not making a mistake by walking away from what's familiar. Faith that the empty space you're creating will be filled with something more aligned with who you're becoming. Most people fail this test. They get to the edge of their breakthrough and they panic. They convince themselves they're being ungrateful, impulsive, unrealistic. They go back to what they know, even though what they know is slowly suffocating their spirit. They choose the comfort of familiar pain over the uncertainty of unfamiliar growth. But you're not most people. You wouldn't be here if you were. You wouldn't be feeling this pull if you weren't ready to answer it. You wouldn't be questioning everything if you weren't meant to rebuild it all from a higher foundation. The universe has been preparing you for this moment longer than you realize. Every challenge you've faced was building your resilience. Every disappointment was teaching you discernment. Every time you felt out of place was reminding you that you were made for something different. All of it was leading here, to this choice point, to this opportunity to finally align your external reality with your internal truth. And here's the secret that changes everything. You don't have to have it all figured out before you take the first step. You don't need to see the entire staircase before you climb the first step. You don't need permission from anyone else to honor what you know to be true in your bones. You just need to trust that the path will reveal itself as you walk it. The signs are everywhere if you know how to read them. Opportunities that feel perfectly timed, conversations that happen exactly when you need to hear them, resources that show up just when you're ready to use them. People who enter your life with exactly the skills, connections, or perspectives you need to move forward. This isn't coincidence. This is confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. But here's where it gets interesting. The turning point isn't a single moment. It's a series of choices, small, seemingly insignificant decisions that compound over time until suddenly you look around and realize your entire life has shifted. It's choosing to speak your truth in a conversation where you normally would have stayed quiet. It's setting a boundary where you usually would have said yes out of guilt. It's pursuing something that excites you even though you can't explain why it matters. Each choice builds momentum. Each decision strengthens your connection to your authentic self. Each step forward makes the next step clearer. And before you know it, you're not just thinking about changing your life. You're living a completely different one. The people around you will notice. Some will celebrate your growth. Others will resist it because your expansion reminds them of their own stagnation. Some relationships will deepen. Others will naturally fade. New connections will form with people who resonate with who you're becoming rather than who you used to be. This isn't loss. This is alignment. This isn't ending. This is beginning. You're not losing yourself. You're finding yourself, the real you. the one who's been waiting patiently underneath all the shoulds and expectations and compromises you made when you didn't know you had other options. And once you taste this kind of authenticity, once you feel what it's like to live from your center rather than from your fears, there's no going back. Not because you can't, but because you won't want to. Because you'll finally understand that all the safety you thought you were protecting by staying small was just an illusion. Real security comes from trusting yourself to navigate whatever comes next. So here you are, standing at the threshold of everything you've been unconsciously preparing for. You've recognized the signs, you've felt the pull, you've acknowledged that the restlessness isn't going away because it was never meant to. Now comes the moment that separates those who transform from those who stay stuck. This is your turning point. Not tomorrow when you have more clarity. Not next week when the timing feels better. Not when other people understand or approve or give you permission. Right now, in this moment, with all the uncertainty and all the questions still swirling around you. The path forward isn't about having all the answers. It's about honoring the questions that won't leave you alone. It's about trusting that inner knowing that brought you here, even when your logical mind can't make sense of it yet. It's about taking one step toward who you're meant to become, even if you can't see where that step will lead. Your turning point has already begun. The only choice now is whether you'll lean into it or resist it, whether you'll trust the process or fight against it, whether you'll finally give yourself permission to become who you've always been underneath everything else. The universe conspired to bring you to this moment. Your job now is simple. Stop waiting for permission that will never come, and start honoring the truth that's been calling your name. Your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of that choice.